The Jedi created Darth Vader, not Palpatine, not the dark side, the Jedi themselves, and I can prove it with one simple fact. They had 13 years to save Anakin Skywalker, and instead they systematically destroyed him. And when a 9-year-old boy showed up with the potential to have more power than Yoda himself, they didn't see a savior. They saw a threat, so they did what the Jedi always do when they're scared. They tried to control it. Because when a prophecy becomes a label, especially for a child, it becomes a trap. Anakin wasn't just trained to be a Jedi, he was molded to fulfill an idea no one could explain to him, and that pressure, that unspoken weight, began shaping his destiny before he could understand it. In truth, the prophecy functioned less as a spiritual truth and more as a self-fulfilling construct. By telling Anakin who he was supposed to be, the Jedi unknowingly built a prison. Not with walls, but with expectations. Every choice he made was viewed through that lens until it stopped being a prophecy and became a sentence. Could Anakin escape the Dark Force prophecy? To even ask that, we must question whether the prophecy was ever real, or whether it was just an idea projected onto a boy who never had the chance to be anything else.
Compassion, which I would define as unconditional love, is central to a Jedi's life.
The Jedi taught detachment, not just from people but from emotion itself. To love was to risk loss. To form bonds was to invite fear, and fear, as Master Yoda warned, led down the path to the dark side. But what if that path wasn't darkness at all, but humanity? Anakin Skywalker loved. That was his crime in the eyes of the Order. He loved his mother, and when he lost her, grief consumed him. He loved Padme, and when he foresaw her death, terror overtook him. The Jedi didn't embrace that pain, they shamed it. They didn't help him understand it, they demanded he deny it. In truth, the Jedi's fear of attachment was a fear of vulnerability. Their dogma sought to elevate them above the chaos of the galaxy. But by severing themselves from emotion, they lost the very thing that gives life meaning. They believed that to feel deeply was to fall. Yet in pushing Anakin to reject love, they created the very conditions for his collapse. It was not possible for him to reject, and Jedi should seen it. What makes a man fall to darkness? Sometimes it's not hatred or ambition, it's the unbearable silence when no one will hold your pain. Anakin's love for Padme wasn't a weakness, it was a truth. But without the tools to handle it, without a system that honored emotional complexity, that truth twisted into fear, and fear into desperation. The Jedi were supposed to be guardians of peace, but peace without understanding is only control. And control, as they taught Anakin, is an illusion.
They don't trust you, Anakin.
The Jedi Council, wise, powerful, revered across the galaxy. Yet in the story of Anakin Skywalker, their wisdom turned to arrogance and their power to blindness. They never truly accepted him. From the moment he stepped into the temple as a child far older than the others, the council viewed him as dangerous. Not because he was malicious, but because he was different, because he felt more, questioned more, wanted more, and the Jedi feared what they could not control. When Anakin was denied the rank of Master, despite sitting on the council, it wasn't just a political insult, it was a personal fracture. It told him, "We want your power, but not your spirit, your skills, but not your soul." And that was the main mistake of Jedi Council. They saw his ambition as a threat, his emotions as liabilities, his visions as delusions. But what if they were something more? What if they were a call for help? Instead of guiding him through his inner storm, they turned away. They gave him missions that tore him from Padme. They fed his doubts by keeping secrets. And when the time came, they asked him to spy on the very man who treated him like a son. Palpatine didn't corrupt Anakin alone. He simply filled the void the council left behind. In their distrust, they opened the door. In their silence, they handed him over. The tragedy of Anakin Skywalker is not only his fall, it's that those sworn to protect him never truly saw him. Because to the council, he was never a person. He was a prophecy, a weapon, a means to an end, but not a man.
I have the power to save the one you love. You must choose.
While the Jedi looked at Anakin with suspicion, Palpatine looked at him with understanding, or so it seemed. From the very beginning, Darth Sidious played the long game. He didn't fight Anakin's ambition, he validated it. He didn't suppress his emotions, he encouraged them. Where the Jedi saw danger, Palpatine saw potential. He knew what the boy feared most, loss, and he planted the seed early. All who gain power are afraid to lose it. A lesson, a warning, and a temptation. By the time Anakin began to see visions of Padme's death, Palpatine had already positioned himself as the only one who could help. It wasn't just about saving Padme. It was about giving Anakin a purpose greater than the Order, a secret truth, a forbidden path. And yet, this is where the deeper question arises. Did Anakin truly have a choice? The Sith Lord didn't force Anakin's hand, he guided it. With each emotional wound, he offered comfort. With every moment of confusion, he offered clarity. And the Jedi, blind to the slow infection, pushed Anakin further toward the edge. This wasn't mind control, it was emotional engineering. Palpatine didn't manipulate events, he manipulated identity. He made Anakin believe that the Jedi didn't care, that they couldn't help, and that only he, the Chancellor, could offer the truth.
You're so beautiful.
It's only because I'm so in love.
Padme wasn't just a wife, she was Anakin's last anchor, his final bridge to the light, the last hope to escape the spiral of isolation. She wasn't his weakness, she was his humanity, but the fear of losing her became the core of his downfall. When Anakin began having visions of her death, everything shifted. These weren't mere nightmares, they were prophetic glimpses, just like the ones that led to his mother's death. And where he once failed to save the one he loved, he now swore he would not fail again, no matter the cost. And here lies the deepest paradox. His love, pure, real, and selfless, became the engine of his fear. That fear fueled his anger, and anger opened the door to the dark. This is what makes Anakin's fall so uniquely tragic. He never sought power for its own sake. He wasn't driven by conquest or domination. He just wanted to save the one he loved. But to do that, he was willing to burn down the galaxy. Padme was the reason he fought, and in the end, the very person he destroyed. When Padme said, "You're going down a path I can't follow," she sealed the tragedy. Their paths had already split. Love, which should have saved him, became the very reason he fell. And the cruel irony is, he didn't lose Padme to death. He lost her to the fear of death.
What have I done?